this is like, you might as well buy it at Claire's, because oh my god, Cake Face Central, how did I ever let myself do that? I had such high hopes and it disappointed me so much. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about the most disappointing makeup of 2021. I know this is super late. We're like almost done with January, but I haven't had a chance to film these videos. Today's going to be the most disappointing. Tomorrow will be my favorites, but I'm not doing palettes in that video. I'm going to do palettes in a separate video, and then I'm going to do my palette ranking. That's the plan for the next few videos. I just really have not had the time to do what I want to do, and I'm so sorry about that. But basically, this is a full face of makeup I hate. On camera, it might look okay, and you might be like, wow, your makeup doesn't look that bad. But like in person, I just really cannot wait to take this makeup off. Please take these opinions with a grain of salt. This is my opinion on what doesn't work for me. If I mentioned a product that you love, it's no hate toward you and the product or anything. It's just that it didn't work for me, just so you guys know. Anyway, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe, and let's get into this video. So I'm gonna start in the order that I did my makeup in today, and I started with brows, and I do have a brow product that was really disappointing to me. ColourPop did reformulate their brow stuff, or they added a new brow pencil, I can't remember, but it's my first time in a while trying this ColourPop. This is called the Brow Boss. I actually think this one's newer, because I feel like I did try a ColourPop product just like this or similar to this years ago, and it was like kind of okay, but this is like a thinner formula of a pencil, like a thinner, I don't know if you guys can see how thin that is. I have this shade Soft Black. I don't like this at all. As you can see, my brows are already faded, and I did this like maybe an hour ago. The shade is also like, it's okay, it matches my brow hair. It's probably a little more cool tone than I would have liked to go. They don't have many shade options though, and I think this is the darkest, and I like my brows to match my hair. My hair is pretty dark. It just fades so quickly, and I don't have an easy time using this product on my brows. I do think that it's a little bit too waxy, and while I do like a waxy brow pencil, it's too waxy and like slips and slides everywhere. It's very hard for me to get like a precise application for my brows, and I hate it. I can't use it. Next, we're moving on to eyes, and I do have an eyeshadow primer. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer, and while I like the Hydro Grip Face Primer, this is horrible. It basically does nothing. It is clear. I actually didn't use this today because I kind of forgot that I had this, even though it was right in front of me. I don't know. And plus, I'm kind of glad I didn't use it, because my eyeshadow would have been worse. I am not a fan of clear eyeshadow bases at all. I think they do next to nothing. This one takes forever to dry down, and then when it does dry down, it like doesn't grip at all. Like, to me, this is nothing like the face primer. Like, you might as well put the face primer on your lids, and you might have a better time with that, to be honest. It's just so bad. Like, it just doesn't do anything. It's almost like it disappears into nothing, and my hand feels like soft, honestly. Like, it doesn't feel like it's gripping at all. It doesn't feel sticky or tacky, which I'm sure I wouldn't really like that feeling on the eyes anyway, but it would do something to the eyeshadow and it would help. I don't know, like, it's not very good. I don't like it. Okay, I have a few eyeshadow palettes to talk about, and I did talk about, I think, one of them or a couple of them in my mid-year ones. I did forget to mention I did do a mid-year, like, oh, the worst in 2021 so far, and I am going to talk about the same things basically, but I'm adding a few more things that I've tried since then. This is one of the things that I've tried since then. This is the Uoma Beauty Black Magic Color Palette. I got this from Look Fantastic. They did actually send this over to me, and I was like, I picked it up myself because I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I love the movie Coming to America. This palette looks so cute, and it's so colorful, and it's very me, but it is very, very underwhelming, and that's why it's in this video. It is disappointing. It's not a bad product, and I will definitely use it, and I have used it quite a few times, but every time I use this palette, it is a struggle to get a good look. It is made in Italy, so I thought it would be a really great quality, and it's just not so great. I don't know. The shimmers are kind of okay. They really are. They're like not bad. They're buttery and smooth. This is like a good inner corner shimmer. Like, this is not a good representation. Let me try a different one. So this is a very nice shimmer, right? I wouldn't say they're intense metallics like I like I'm normally used to. They're not like foiled or anything. They're okay. They're not lackluster. It's the mattes. They swatch beautifully, and you'd think that they're gonna be super pigmented and then they show up like nothing on your eyes and they blend away. And when I start blending it, it's almost like I didn't put anything on. I have a really hard time creating good looks with this palette. I have to really build up the colors, so it's very, very disappointing. I'm definitely using it though because I don't like wasting products, so I won't waste my products. Some more palettes, and I think I did talk about these actually now that I think about it. We are talking about the Huda Beauty Wild Obsessions palettes. These were all disappointments to me, and I was almost going to use my least favorite one of these today because I haven't used it in a while. I've created quite a few looks with this one and I just can't get it to look good, and I just think that it's kind of an incoherent palette. It goes from really dark to really light and mattes, and then it has this random purple, which I actually really like. This purple, like, I think it's gorgeous, and I actually pull from it a lot. Like if I'm gonna do like a purple look, I'm like, oh, let me go into that one. While it's not my favorite formula of metallic or shimmer, it's okay and it does the job, and it's a really nice shade. These are all made in China, which is just, it's not my favorite formula from Huda. I like her bigger palettes that are made in Italy, and they're just like a lot more curated and thoughtful. So this one was my least favorite. I think my favorite out of all of them is the Python palette. I just love the color story, and it doesn't go deep enough for things to get really patchy or weird, although the color story in here is a little strange as well. Like you have these over here and then you have more neutrals. It kind of doesn't go cohesively together. I have an easier time with this one because it doesn't go as deep. Another thing about this palette I forgot to mention is that the mattes, when the darker you go, as you try to build them up, they get patchy, and that's the number one issue I had with this palette. The Jaguar palette's okay as well. All of these are like, okay, this is like the no-no. Like I try to force myself to use this palette basically, and it's not a good feeling. The rest of these, like I consciously try to use them and they're okay. They're still not my favorite formula though. So this one's probably my second favorite. If I had to rank them, favorite Python, second favorite the Tiger's okay, and the only reason the Tiger is not higher up is because the stupid shimmer broke. It came to me shattered. I repressed it, didn't do a good job, and it shattered again. So there's that. They did actually refund me my money for this. Huda Beauty has great customer service. And then this is my least favorite, so that's a big no-no. I don't like it. These are just, I expected more out of them, so they are definitely like huge on my list of disappointing products. And then the last two I also talked about in my mid-year review, and they are the Urban Decay Prince collection. This is like, you might as well buy it at Claire's because it's like so chalky. Why can't I get this out? The packaging was okay, right? It's like all right. It's not horrible, but these are so lackluster. The mattes are so lackluster. The color story even is lackluster. Why are you gonna put so many purples in this palette when you have a fully dedicated purple palette? Let me show you it. I do like this one a little bit more just because of the nature of the colors, and I like this blue over here. The metallics are okay. They're like kind of crumbly and weird and not in a good way. I usually like crumbly metallics, but this one's, they're like it's so matte, and then the mattes are just the issue here. They're just really, really chalky. I have a hard time using these as well. I only keep them because it's a collaboration with Prince, and Urban Decay is so nice to me and they always send me things. Moving on to complexion, I do have a primer. I think it came out in 2021, but it might have come out in 2020. I really don't remember, but either way, I'm not a huge fan of the e.l.f. putty primers at all. This is the luminous version, and they did come out with like an acne fighting version, which I don't really have acne, so it would make zero sense for me to buy that. But anyway, this does literally nothing to my skin. It actually makes my skin look really, really dry, which I understand like the smoothing primers tend to do that because they cover the pores and they tend to like make everything a little bit more matte, which I hate because I do have texture, but I'm really dry. So I thought this was gonna be amazing because it's luminous. This was horrible. It made my skin, it did nothing to my skin, and then it made my skin look drier more than luminous as well. Like it was almost like they didn't really reformulate this to make it luminous. They just took the same exact putty primer as before and called it luminous. Not a fan of this at all. I don't like it. I forgot to use it today even though it was right in front of me, so I used a different primer, but it doesn't matter. Like it would have done absolutely nothing for my skin. And speaking of the foundation I used today, another, like, I was disappointed in this because it was so hyped. It's the KVD Good Apple foundation, and I haven't used this one in a while, and I realized like when I use it how much I love it at first. It just does not wear well at all. Like I could, if I were filming a video, I would use this foundation if it was just like a talking video where I wasn't like trying out new products or anything, because it's really, really good for like on camera visually. Like it looks okay, and it only looks okay for like maybe 30 minutes or an hour. Like it's already starting to look really strange. It breaks apart and it kind of makes my skin, it emphasizes my texture so much. It makes my skin look oily and dry at the same time. I don't know how that's possible. Like, I look shiny, but you look up and like you could probably flake it off and it's texturized in certain areas. It's very strange how a foundation can do that. I did talk about this in my mid-year, and I don't think I have any new foundations now that I think about it that I'm including in this video, but the sister product is the Milani one. Everyone thought that this was a dupe for the KVD one. I like this one actually a little bit more, I think. I haven't used it in a long while. It feels a little thicker in consistency. It also doesn't wear well, but I think it wears a little bit better. It doesn't look as bad after a while of use, but honestly, this is already looking so bad. Like, if you could see me in person right now, it is just not a good feeling. It doesn't feel right on the skin either. It's very heavy. Can you believe that when I first got into makeup, like in high school, this was the kind of foundation I would wear? I think it was CoverGirl that sold one in a blue packaging. Or even a black packaging. It might have been a black packaging. So they sold something like this where it's like, it was a cream foundation like this, and I would put it everywhere, and then I would set it with the counterpart that was like a powder. It was almost like a powder foundation. Oh my god, Cake Face Central. How did I ever let myself do that? Anyway, these are not great. I don't recommend them at all. If I had to choose one over the other, it would be the Milani though. And then the last one I have is from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Tinted Moisturizer. I had such high hopes for this one. I did do a full dedicated review. Well, actually, I did a dedicated review for almost all of these products, so you could find them. I'll try to have the videos linked down below if I remember. This was horrible. The worst experience I've ever had in a foundation review in my life. What would happen is I would try to put the product on my face and it wouldn't stick to my face, and then when I finally figured out how to get it to stick on my face after a million tries, it would pill off. It was pilling. It was disgusting. I would literally go like this and it would flake off. It was horrible. It gave zero coverage because you could barely get the product to stick on your face. No matter what primer I use, I can't get this to work. So I haven't used it since that review. That's how bad it is. I only kept it to like talk about it in this video. I'll probably declutter it after today because this is horrible. I do not recommend it. I have one concealer, and I did not speak about this in my mid-year because these didn't exist at that point. I don't like the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealers. I had such high hopes for this. It's the concealers I'm wearing today. Everyone likes them and they actually like think that they're hydrating. To me, this is not a hydrating concealer whatsoever. I have much better ones. I just think that they are really heavy on my under eyes. They emphasize everything for me. Like, they settle into my wrinkles. It makes me look like I'm ancient. These are actually my current Shop My Stash, which I decided to push back my Shop My Stash to February because it took me so long to get it up that it's like literally no point, and I want to do a Shop My Stash for a whole month. So I'm gonna push that video back and just keep using the stuff that I chose, even though it was at in the beginning of January. Anyway, these are my Shop My Stash because I'm trying to get my use out of this. And I think a lot of the reason that I don't like this has to do with the fact that I didn't get the right shade at first. I got this shade, which is shade 6. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think it's a light shade. It was labeled as light neutral, and I was like, oh, this is perfect, but it was way too dark for my under eyes. So I decided to get one so I could mix it, so like I could have something in the middle instead of getting a whole new concealer where I would like neglect this one. I don't know. I don't like returning makeup because then they end up throwing it away. It's like a whole thing with me. I don't return makeup unless I absolutely have to. But this, it just makes my under eyes look super heavy, cakey. It settles and I don't like it at all. But I'm trying to use it, so that's why it's in my Shop My Stash. I just really can't get it to work. A setting powder that I really hate actually is one that I spoke about also in my mid-year. This is the Tatcha the Silk Powder. I had such high hopes for this as well because I am a huge fan of the Tatcha the Silk Canvas and the Liquid Silk Canvas. I think they're great on my dry skin, but this is so bad. It makes my under eyes so dry, and while I understand it probably has some sort of smoothing aspect in it, and generally when I think of smoothing, it mattifies the skin or whatever, this is horrible. It's horrible on my dry under eyes. If you have dry skin, stay away from this. If you have oily skin, you'll probably like this a lot. But I had such high hopes and it disappointed me so much. I don't want to talk too much about some of these because I did talk about them in my mid-year, but something I did not talk about is a liquid bronzer that I tried later in the year, I guess. This is the Iconic London liquid bronzer. This is a sheer bronze. It's even in the name, okay? The reason I hate it is even in the name. This came in a Sephora favorite set and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. Do you see it on my cheeks? It's literally non-existent. When I say sheer, they mean sheer. This literally blends out into nothing. I've tried it with a brush, with several different brushes. I've tried it with different sponges as well. Today I used it with a sponge, and you'll see how it like literally disappears before your eyes in my application of this. It is not a great bronzer at all. I just really didn't like it. Another bronzer that I really didn't like was the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. I had high hopes for this one because the putty blushes, they're like kind of okay. I like the putty blushes more than I like the putty bronzer, but the putty blush is also in this video, so it's kind of disappointing as well. It's not my favorite. It doesn't blend with ease. It's kind of heavy. It's not as creamy as I would like for it to be. Same with the it's like really dry almost, and once you put it down, it's very hard to blend out. I have this shade. Oh, it doesn't tell you, by the way. It's not on the packaging, so that's kind of freaking annoying. The same thing goes with the bronzer though. The bronzer is very dry. It's very hard to move. It's not like emollient enough for me. I like the shade though. It's like pretty, it's a pretty neutral shade, so you can chisel out the cheekbones. I just haven't used this in a long while. Every time I use it, I kind of struggle with it. It's very hard to blend out. Not my favorite thing in the world, that's for sure. The blush that I did use today, it's a cream blush. Another disappointing product from ABH, sadly. This actually launched with a cream bronzer that I love so much. It's going to be in my 2021 favorites for sure. But this is the shade Latte. So this one blends out almost into nothing too. As you can see, my cheeks just look like they don't have product on them. It blends out into nothing. It's also kind of not emollient enough for me. It's more emollient than the putty blushes from e.l.f., but it's not emollient enough for me. It's not pigmented enough for me. And I even tried dotting it on my face. If you dot it, it will not blend out, so don't do that. It only blends out with the warmth of your finger, and when I do that, sometimes it moves the foundation, so it's not great. I just don't really like that. It's just not pigmented enough for me. Same thing for the highlighter. I have this shade Bubbly here. It's kind of just a harder highlight. It has a lot of chunks of glitter, which sometimes I don't mind. It just really disappears as well. As you can see, it's like basically gone. I actually did use another highlighter though, and I'm gonna talk about it in a second, because I'm telling you, it just disappears in a second once you start blending it out. And I did blend it out with the warmth of my finger, and that's much better than using a brush or a sponge, but it's still not great. So I'm not a huge fan of this one at all. The highlighter that I was talking about though is a powder highlighter. This is from Kylie Cosmetics. So Kylie reformulated her brand. I thought I was gonna love this. This is made in Italy. I love the imprint. It's so cool. I thought it was gonna be one of those like baked gelée kind of highlighters, and it's horrible. It has just like chunks of glitter. It's very lackluster. It's not bam in your face. And lately I've been moving away from bam in your face highlighters, but like literally it just does absolutely nothing. This is not the worst highlighter I've ever used in my life, and I'm gonna get my use out of it, but it's not my favorite at all. It was super disappointing. Out of all the products that I tried in her reformulation, this was my least favorite. I actually liked everything else just fine, except for her eyeshadow palettes. I think they're horrible. The eyeshadow formula just really disappointed me as well, which, by the way, I guess I should have mentioned that. I don't think I pulled it out to talk about it. The Kylie Cosmetics 24 karat. I hated it so much that I didn't want to buy any other eyeshadow palette she came out with this year, so that's saying a lot. Like, I really did not like it at all, but this honestly was my least favorite thing from her rebranding. Makes me sad because I really had high hopes for it, but it really does nothing. Like, honestly, my face looks horrible right now. Not a good feeling. There might be some other stuff I'm missing talking about from that I did talk about in my mid-year. If I'm missing it, just go check out that video, because there are some products in there I feel like I really am missing. But another product that I know I tried later on in the year is this ColourPop Act Natural Defining Mascara. This came in a ColourPop mystery box that I ordered. Horrible. This does nothing for my lashes. I used it today and you'll see like literally nothing for my lashes, and I've been using Grande Lash for the last like month or so, so my lashes are actually getting really a lot more voluminous and full and lengthened, and like it's bringing out my real lashes. I'm so excited. This sucks. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't volumize, and it is in the name. It's the Act Natural mascara, and it really just does that. It is an okay everyday mascara. It's just not my favorite at all. Oh, I have a setting spray that I tried out, and you're gonna see in my demo how freaking funny this was. I couldn't end up using it because it was just so horrible. This is from AIA. This is the Blue Light Filter Protect and Set Mist. This is horrible. Now, I'm not sure if it's this particular packaging because it's the travel spray, but look at this. I will show you in action. Oh, of course it's not gonna do it now. I'll play the demo now so you guys can see. That was a fine mist. The number one reason I hate this is the smell. You'll actually see me choking in that clip also, because I just inhaled it and it was horrible. Every time I use it, I inhale it. It's like disgusting. I hate it. I can't stand it. I can't use it. Like, I want to declare this. I just want to throw it away. I will not use that. And I don't understand the whole concept behind blue light filter. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do we need protection from light? It doesn't make sense to me. Just make a setting spray that's normal. For dry, you want to be more dewy, you want to be matte, like make normal setting sprays. That's horrible. I don't like it. And then the last products I have to talk about, I did talk about in my mid-year. They're lipsticks. These are the liquid lipsticks from Jacqueline Cosmetics. They are so drying. I literally cannot use these unless I'm going to put a gloss over top. I used both of these today with a ColourPop lip liner, and I think using a lip liner and actually filling in your lips actually makes it a little bit more creamy, because especially if you use one like ColourPop, which is really creamy, it feels like they're just flaking off. Like if I went like this, they would probably flake off. What's amazing about them is, yeah, they're pretty much kiss proof. Okay, it's like a tiny bit right here, so they're really matte, but they're just so drying on the lips. I cannot wear these. Like, I would not be able to wear these all day. I don't care how kiss proof it is, how matte it is, how long lasting it claims to be. If it feels like this, it just feels horrible. It feels tight. So I can only use this if I'm gonna wear a gloss. So I'm going to take this makeup off soon, because I am not feeling this makeup look. Everything looks horrible. I don't like these products. Okay, I think that's everything. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's everything. I would love to know what your least favorite product launch of 2021 was, or whatever you've tried in 2021 that you did not like, because I would love to know what doesn't work for you. Once again, please take these opinions with a grain of salt. This is my opinion on what doesn't work for me. If I mentioned a product that you love, it's no hate toward you and the product or anything. It's just that it didn't work for me, just so you guys know. But anyway, that completes this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. So I'm gonna start.